Hello and welcome to Fierce. This program celebrates the diversity of LGBTIQ identities and perspectives. Fierce is produced in Bunjalung country at 2NCR Lismore and can also be heard on podcast at fiercefm.podbean.com and in New Zealand on Fresh FM, as well as all over Australia through the Community Radio Network. This is Peter Lena, and I want to acknowledge the traditional owners of the lands where you are listening. They took care of these lands sustainably for hundreds of thousands of years and then shared this land with us at great cost to their own lives. I want to honour and thank them for the work they have done and continue to do to care for country and to sit on the earth. I also want to thank the fairies and crones who came before us in history to fight for our human rights, to love fiercely.
Fierce.
Let's Walk Uganda was founded in 2016 to sustain the lives of LGBTIQ youth in homophobic Uganda. So much violence continues to surface, and there's a possible revival of the Anti Homosexual Bill in Uganda that is intended to be passed with the death penalty attached. We are chatting now to Nje Eric Griffin, a 23-year-old activist who's calling upon the world to join hands in fighting the good fight and bring this to an end together. You can help them out by checking out their GoFundMe.com. Look for LW Uganda. Hi Eric, how are you?
I'm very fine, Peter. How are you, Peter?
Very easy life over here in the Northern Rivers. What's it like in Uganda for LGBTIQ?
95% of the LGBT people in Uganda have to live in a closet because when you come out, you're going to face discrimination. You're going to see in a certain way. I know these things happen in the world, but it's worse here in Uganda because people can actually attack you and either kill you. To the worst end, you can actually even be arrested because Section 145 says that criminal knowledge against the order of nature is punishable by life imprisonment in Uganda. Now, this is reality from the media, preachers, the religious leaders, politicians, and other opinion leaders. These are people who can be able to incite violence within the local community people.
Recently, you and a group of people were arrested. It's been months now since that arrest and still nothing's finalised.
It was in October. We got attacked by a very angry mob. By these opinion leaders, you can be able to. They banged the gate. They were shouting and hurling slurs. Morally unacceptable. We fear to be killed. We had to call the only protection service we could have at that moment that could control this angry mob, and it was a big mob, by the way. More than 100 people were. We tried to get into contact with LGBT friends that were outside the shelter to be able to help us. Call the police for us. Some of them gave me the numbers of the police that I could call around. I called and they came after like 40 minutes. Instead of arresting the people who wanted to kill us, they decided to arrest us. We called them for protection, but they instead arrested us. They were mocking us, telling us we were a disgrace to the country. However, the police promised protection. That's what they said before taking us to the police station. But instead, what was protection custody became a torture.
Sorry, it became a what? Torture?
It became, yeah. You could imagine a 6x6 room of 16 of us were all locked up inside there. The room does not have any ventilation except the door. We found the room really smelly and dirty because it had been used by the previous detainees as a place of convenience. They don't allow you to go for anything of convenience at any point in time. We had to beg the police officers to allow us to go for short calls, and it wasn't allowed. We had visitors who were bringing us food, but we were literally not allowed to have that food. They performed forced annual examinations on us, all of us, one by one. You go inside, there is a doctor, there is a nurse. They want to prove that whether you really had anal sex. And the only way to prove it is to make you go through that humiliating process of having an anal examination. It was sad, and one day they spotted me as the leader. They picked me up and took me back to the shelter, making me walk around the village, shaming me. The villagers were walking, shouting, "That's homosexual." I had to pass through all that. I call it the walk of shame. We got lucky on the fourth day. Our lawyers at the Human Rights Awareness and Promotion Forum were released on police bond, but we had to keep on reporting back to police every week. Months later, they finally forwarded our case to the state attorney. The state attorney dismissed the case and ordered the file to be closed.
That's good news.
Yes.
Did you have bullying as a child?
Very much, yes. I grew up in a family where there were only ladies. My grandmother, my sisters, the neighbors were mostly ladies. And at school, I only associated with girls. I behaved like a girl. So every time I went to school, they could call me these names of girl, boy. I was associating with girls basically because we had so much in common. Literally, they liked everything I liked. They liked boys, I liked boys. I found it very weird to be having an association with boys because I literally had a crush on different boys and I couldn't express it to myself. Yes, but there was bullying. There was this one time when 5 boys, I think I was in my high school, senior 3. 5 boys actually, they one day rounded me up and they wanted to rape me, and because they thought that probably I'm putting out myself there as a homosexual, so I should face it rough, and this is what really happened. I had to fight out, but I could not actually overfight the 5. Yes. It's such a disturbing moment to talk about because these things happen to most of the boys out there. Every time I looked into the mirror, seeing myself, am I really supposed to be me? When I was growing up, I had to hear a lot of inspiring stories from different LGBT activists to get stronger, to be able to understand that I'm loved, to understand that I'm not hated, and I should also even love myself even more. Because if you're not like me and you don't like me, it has to be your problem, not mine. At the end of the day, I had to realize that I don't have to deal with other people's problem of hating me. I have to deal with my own problems of even loving myself even more.
Do you feel that the reason that there's so much hatred to people like you is because of religious beliefs in your country?
95% of Uganda, they're actually religious. Those are Muslims and those are Christians. They preach hatred towards the LGBT community. It's on a very rare case that you'll find a pastor or a priest that is preaching actually in support of the LGBT community in Uganda. Most LGBT people feel like they cannot go to church because they are not welcome there. They are not loved there. They feel like God really hates them. And this is the story, this is the preaching.
Is your birth family religious? Your sisters and mother, grandmother?
Yes, the whole of my family, they are very Catholic. And one thing they always told us was that we could be anything else but never be a homosexual. Because homosexuals deserve to die, they don't deserve to live on this earth. Every time we had stories, for example, on the news, and there is a homosexual that has been outed in one or the other, they go, you cannot be like that. These people actually are ashamed to our cultures, they are ashamed to our traditions, ashamed to God. They're actually against God in one or the other. This is what happens. Every child that is growing up, they tell them that you're going to be wearing diapers because someone actually had sex with you. And you're going to have anal cancer, you're going to get these things, so please don't be a homosexual.
Do you stay in contact with your sisters and mother and grandmother?
Yes, I still hold contacts with them. However, on a very limited basis. I have to hide myself, not to face them directly, because I fear how they're going to judge me. I have to stay still in hiding.
Eric, at 23, you are running an organisation called Let's Walk Uganda, which is refuge for people like yourself, young people. They must be so
Yes.
proud of you.
I certainly find it very intriguing. If you mean that my family is supposed to be proud of me, is that what you mean?
I can't imagine how they wouldn't be. What a strong individual you are.
Okay. The family is not really supporting my work I do because they find it really immoral. However, I'm proud that the people I lead, the LGBT community, find it very inspiring. At the end of the day, if no one is going to come out and say that we need a safe space for the LGBT people to be able to find refuge, we are going to find ourselves barring more LGBT who are dying of depression, dying of anxiety, loneliness, and they're going to commit suicide. They need mental health support, they need psychosocial support, they need a friend, they need someone they can talk to, someone who can be able to listen to them. There are a lot of family rejections, evictions from the moment that your neighbors and all the landlord realizes that you're a homosexual. They're going to just throw you out. At the end of the day, you're going to become homeless.
Please tell our listeners, Eric, about your organization and what you do.
Let's WALK Uganda started out in 2016. I was very young by that time. I was a member. An organization that was providing a home to the homeless LGBTQ youth. We opened up the first homeless shelter in Uganda, help to find a place to sleep, to find food. At the end of the day, people don't have food, do not have clothing, medical care. Let's WALK Uganda also provides other services like the HIV, where we distribute condoms, we distribute lubricants, legal aid, and we currently have 17 LGBTQ members in the shelter.
You and I right now are talking on Facebook Messenger.
Yes.
You've got access to the Western world. And of course, over here in the Western world, we're experiencing a lot of equality, but also a big backlash in America and in Australia. And in fact, a religious discrimination bill about to be put in place by our corrupt government will make it legal for similar things to happen here, discriminate against LGBTIQ people. But it will never be as horrendous as it is where you are in Uganda, I hope. And you're dealing with a government that is very uncaring. Do you see a future where things could change?
One thing that makes me wake up in the morning and still fight for the rights of others, one thing that inspired me even after the arrest that I should be able to continue this fight is that I have hope that one day, one time, even if I don't live to see the life I'm fighting for, at least someone else will be able to enjoy the life I'm fighting for. There is a lot of progress that has been made. At least they have realized that we exist. That is the first step. And now we are fighting for acceptance. However, one of the songs that actually inspired my activism was Stem Love by Macklemore. I love that song so much.
When I was in the 3rd grade, I thought that I was gay, cause I could draw. My uncle was, and I kept my room straight. I told my mom, tears rushing down my face. She's like, Ben, you've loved girls since before pre-K. Tripping. Yeah, I guess she had a point, didn't she? Bunch of stereotypes all in my head. I remember doing the math, like, yeah, I'm good at Little League. A preconceived idea of what it all meant. But those that like the same sex have the characteristics. The right-wing conservatives think it's a decision, and you can be cured with some treatment and religion. Man-made rewiring of a predisposition, playing God. Oh nah, here we go. America the brave still fears what we don't know. And God loves all his children. It's somehow forgotten, but we paraphrase a book written 3,500 years ago. I don't know.
And I can't change, even if I tried, even if I wanted to. And I can't change, even if I tried.
If I was gay, I would think hip-hop hates me. Have you read the YouTube comments lately? Man, that's gay, gets dropped on the daily. We become so numb to what we're saying. A culture founded from oppression. Yeah, we don't have acceptance for 'em. Call each other faggots behind the keys of a message board. A word rooted in hate, yet our genre still ignores it. Gay is synonymous with the lesser. It's the same hate that's caused wars from religion, gender to skin color, the complexion of your pigment. The same fight that led people to walkouts and sit-ins. It's human rights for everybody. There is no difference. Live on and be yourself. When I was at church, they taught me something else. If you preach hate at the service, those words aren't anointed. That holy water that you soak in has been poisoned when everyone else is more comfortable remaining voiceless rather than fighting for humans that have had their rights stolen. I might not be the same, but that's not important. No freedom till we're equal. Damn right I support it. Don't press pause. Progress march on. With the veil over our eyes, we turn our back on the cause. Till the day that my uncles can be united by law. When kids are walking around the hallway, plagued by pain in their heart. A world so hateful, some would rather die than be who they are. And a certificate on paper isn't gonna solve it all, but it's a damn good place to start. No law is gonna change us. We have to change us. Whatever God you believe in, we come from the same one. Strip away the fear, underneath it's all the same love. About time that we raised up.
We're chatting to Nje Eric from Uganda.
Yes.
In lots of countries where it's illegal to be homosexual sex still happens. Men who have sex with men but don't identify as homosexual. They identify as straight, but they're still having sex with men because it's convenient or easy to get. Having gay sex, but they're also threatening and bashing gay men.
We have that very common in Uganda. We are categorized in that category by the Ministry of Health. But of course, they do not put gay, lesbian. They only recognized MSM, which they call men who have sex with other men. When you're growing up and you're gay, actually here in Uganda, it's very rare to find someone speaking about transgender issues. When they see that you're transgender, they're going to assume that you're already gay at the end of the day. They don't have to know whether it's just transgender or something else. They just say, you are gay or you're homosexual. Now, in Uganda, when you grow up in the closet, your family is going to ask you to get married. The wedding goes on and you get married to a woman. You're going to find this man sneaking behind the back of the woman to go and sleep with boys.
And so where do they go to have sex? Is it in nature somewhere, in a park? Or is it a club? Do you have gay bars?
If you're very careful and you can be able to have safe sex inside your private home, as long as no one has to know, but if you're having sex in that room and people get to know, you might be attacked. We had only one gay bar in Uganda. I went to this bar in 2013. I was very young and I realized that this is the best place I could ever go. However, last year it was raided by the police and each and every one were arrested and the bar was closed down. And up to now, it's not in operation.
Does sex work happen in your community?
Unfortunately, yes, it does. How are you exactly going to sustain yourself when you don't have money? An education that can be help you to get a decent job. Some of the boys find that someone actually who has money has got an interest in them and they don't love them, but however they need the money. But this is something that actually happens in our community. They go out there to look for money, to look for survival. We always advise them to have safe sex during sex work because they have to protect themselves from HIV and also protect others they love.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. You are incredibly fierce. I'm so proud of who you are. I'm sure God is, whatever that is, and I'm sure that your life is going to open up in such amazing ways. How can we over here and all over the world help you there?
Every time we have this kind of opportunity to talk to the world and make them know this is a situation that is actually happening in Uganda. The space and the platform that is given to us is a very big support. That is number one. In Uganda currently, we are facing a challenge where we have a centralized advocacy where most of the activists actually concentrating on only the urban areas, where we are leaving a very big gap in the rural areas of Uganda. So when we put our stories out there to inspire other people, we need resources, we need finances that can be able to help us and give us capacity to help us reach out even to the rural areas and also be able to sustain our work. The platform that is given to us by the international community right now. Thank you so much, Peter, for this really big opportunity that we can be able to speak out to the world and they can be able to hear our story and understand how much progress and how much gaps do we have in Uganda.
And so if people want to help you further, perhaps financial assistance or technical assistance, how can they contact you and get involved?
We have a Facebook page called Let's Walk Uganda.
Let's Walk.
Let's Walk Uganda. Someone can reach out to us via email or you can actually give us a call. All the contacts are on that Facebook page.
Are you getting much support from the Western world?
Not really, Peter. I want to really thank the international community. We had a GoFundMe campaign that was running, especially when we were raided. The GoFundMe campaign was able to raise $6,000 that helped us to find a new home and also find a new office where we can be able to carry out our work. However, as far as now is concerned, we find challenges, of course, to sustain the organization because the funds are inadequate today.
And so how did you get so strong, Eric, to be able to fight like this?
I'll be honest with you, Peter, I was not very strong. I was actually very scared. And even when I got arrested and passed through the annual examination process, those 4 days in that cell made me even stronger. All lesbians and gays and transgender people and normal people. That is what I realized.
Wow. Obviously, you're very intelligent. What's your education been like? Do you have a future career you want to do?
I have to go back to school and do a degree in journalism and mass communication. Although I'm always inspired by journalists and lawyers, and I've always wanted to be a journalist and a lawyer.
Awesome. Are you studying at the moment?
Currently, no, because I don't have the funds that can be able to help me go back to school.
Okay. What's life like at home? Living at that refuge with those 17 people currently?
We live in a life where we have to support each other. We're always open 24 hours that at any point in time someone can actually need our help. We live in a social and a communal way. We are all brothers and sisters. As a leader, I face the challenge of always sustaining the shelter itself. It's work. We go hungry where there's no food, but however, we stay with each other to support each other. We have to find food, find water.
In the house, the 17 people, are there fights?
No,
you know,
we don't literally fight.
Over here in the Western world, we fight with our brothers and sisters. We're terrible. We don't support each other, we fight.
Of course, as a family, you can have wrangles. But these are simple wrangles that can actually be solved within ourselves. We have a very disciplined code of conduct where you're not supposed to cause harm to your brother or to your sister. We don't support violence. So if you have a problem with someone, it's better you come out and you talk about it.
I would just love to play a song for you. What is your favorite song?
My favorite song right now, since it's my birthday, it's called Birthday by Anne-Marie.
Is it your birthday today?
It's my birthday month, so like
yes. How do you feel about turning 24?
I am growing up, that is number one. I'm becoming more responsible, and it only encourages me to even fight harder because I'm seeing that time is running out and I have to create a safe space I'm fighting for. Let's Walk Uganda has a running GoFundMe page. When someone wants to help us, they can always reach out to us.
Thank you so much, Eric. It's been a pleasure to talk to you, and thank you for all the work you're doing in your community.
Thank you so much, Peter, for this opportunity.
I'm another year older. I won't cry about you anymore. Told my friends to come over to dye my hair. It's not even the weekend, and I'm wearing that dress I can't afford. Giving life a new meaning without you there. Do some stupid shit, maybe get a tattoo. Whatever I can do to get my mind off you. It's my birthday. I'ma do what I like. I'ma eat what I like. I'ma kiss you what I like. It's my birthday. I'ma do what I like. I'ma wear what I like. I'ma party tonight. Goddamn, it's my birthday. Everybody love me. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Look at me, give me money. Damn, it's my birthday. Everybody love me. And I ain't thinking about you. It's my birthday. I blow out all the candles. I can't even afford my rent. So I'm not buying the drinks, cause I'ma leave that to my friends. Yeah. Running up with everybody in the room. That's what I do. That's what I do. Yeah. Whatever I can do to get my mind off you. That's what I do. That's what I do. It's my birthday. I'ma do what I like. I'ma eat what I like. I'ma kiss you what I like. It's my birthday. I'ma do what I like. I'ma wear what I like. I'ma party tonight. Goddamn, it's my birthday. Everybody love me. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Look at me, give me money. Damn, it's my birthday. Everybody love me. And I ain't thinking about you. It's my birthday. Ain't got any wiser. Gonna be hungover. Never learn my lesson. And I ain't gonna listen. I don't really care, cause it's my birthday. I'ma do what I like. I'ma eat what I like. I'ma kiss you what I like. It's my birthday. I'ma do what I like. I'ma wear what I like. I'ma party tonight. Goddamn, it's my birthday. Everybody love me. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Look at me, give me money. Damn, it's my birthday. Everybody love me. And I ain't thinking about you. It's my birthday. My birthday. And I ain't thinking about you. It's my
Thank you for listening to Fierce. This program celebrates the diversity of LGBTIQ identities and perspectives. Fierce is produced in Bundjalung Country at 2NCR Lismore and can also be heard on podcast at fiercefm.podbean.com and in New Zealand on Fresh FM, as well as all over Australia through the Community Radio Network.